My dear friends, let us enjoy 3 sounds of the bell together. We're sitting in a natural environment with the wind chimes, the leaves rustling, the sound of the wind. It's very beautiful. And we also have the sound of the bell that helps bring us back to our natural breathing, to our precious body. And it helps us to bring our mind back to be in oneness with the body, to be in the here and the now. When you hear the sound of the bell, just simply smile. Come back to your natural in-breath as it is, your natural out-breath as it is. Simply enjoy breathing, enjoy smiling, and thoughts may come, let them come and go. Feelings may arise, let them arise and subside. Simply be in the here and the now. Come back, come back. I'm here for you.
Thank you. To begin, would you please share your name and a little about your journey to becoming a monastic?
Dear beloved Thai teacher, dear friends, my name is Sister Dang Nghiem. Literally it means adornment with non-discrimination. And my teacher is Zen Master Thích Nhất Hạnh. He gave me that name. When we ordain, we receive a practice name from our teacher. And it means adornment with non-discrimination. So that's the door of practice for me. A door of liberation, nothing grand in my daily life to see my mind of discrimination when it arises. Good versus bad. You want or you don't want something. You grasp something and you have aversion for other things. So when those tendencies arise, I practice recognizing them, smiling with them, and releasing them. And right in those moments, I experience a sense of lightness and freedom. So it's a very practical, valuable practice in my daily life. But in short, it's Sister D. Easy for people to remember. And I've been ordained as a nun for almost 25 years now.
Thank you. So the Buddha, he focused a lot of his teachings on suffering, or dukkha. Can you, in your understanding, share what suffering is and fundamentally what causes us to suffer?
In the first teaching of the Buddha taught about the Four Noble Truths. So over the centuries, many people misunderstood is like a mud that is, yes, is present, but thanks to the mud, lotus can grow. Lotus cannot grow on marble, on precious stone or wood, but it grows in mud, from mud. Every fiber of the lotus flower contains the mud element, and yet it can be very fragrant and beautiful and refreshing. So to recognize that there's suffering in our body, in our thoughts and feelings, that's important, because in our society we often have such fear towards suffering. We avoid acknowledging it. We try to use consumption. We use, entertainment. We do everything we can to escape suffering, including drugs and medications and entertainment, to avoid suffering. But the truth is that wherever we go, there we are. So there is pain in the body, there is pain in the thoughts, the feelings, from within and from without. But Thai has also taught our teacher, we call him Thai, means teacher, in a loving, simple way. And Thai has taught us that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And suffering is only optional when we can acknowledge it, recognize it, take good care of it, so that mud becomes lotus. If we don't acknowledge and take care of mud, mud is still there, but it's very sticky and stinky, and it plagues every aspect of our life. It affects our thoughts, our speech, our bodily actions, in all aspects of our lives. So that is why we practice to acknowledge mud without the feeling of aversion or attachment. We will think that nobody wants suffering, but in many ways we are addicted to suffering at the same time as we try to escape suffering. And at the same time, we will say, it's my suffering. You don't understand. We will turn away from love, from help, in order to curl up with suffering, to think that we are unique, that our suffering is ours, and we don't see it's a human condition, and that we cause it to ourselves and to each other. So to acknowledge that it exists, and that it's both individual and collective, and that with practice we can transform and heal ourselves, can be liberated. Suffering helps us to appreciate even more the simple conditions of happiness that are available to us. We don't take them for granted. So in that way, mud contains lotuses right in itself.
Thank you. Can you please share what is mindfulness and how can it help people with transforming their suffering?
What is mindfulness and how to help us transform the suffering? I was trained as a medical doctor. So if somebody comes to the emergency room under critical condition, the first 3 questions we would ask to evaluate the patient is whether the patient is alert and oriented to person, time, and space. Alert and oriented to person. Hello, sir. What's your name? What's your name? Time, you know which day it is. place. You know where you are. And if the person is alert and oriented to time, space, and person, then actually we can quickly assume that the person is coherent and the condition is not, is more salvageable than somebody who's in a coma or totally discombobulated. So mindfulness is like that. We learn to be alert, awake, aware, and oriented to person, time, and space, because very often we're not aware of who we are, as we try to be somebody else, to accommodate, to please, to escape, to fight, to flight. We don't really know who we are. And very often we're not very aware of our surrounding, the internal mindscape as well as the external space, environment, even the time, the date. We're very much lost. For example, if you sit at a computer for 2 hours, 5 hours, young people nowadays can spend 8 hours in front of the screen. They're definitely not alert and oriented to person, time, and space. So mindfulness is to be aware of what's going on inside us, in this body, thoughts and feelings, and to be aware of what's going on around us. To be aware. And when we learn to be aware of what's going on inside and outside, already that is training ourselves to be in the here and the now. What's really happening. And that is the best way really to learn to take care of suffering. Most of us, we suffer from something that happened from the past, in our childhood, in our, young life. And we continue to be haunted by the past. We continue to behave as if we are still victims of the past. Through our repetitive thinking, speech, and patterns of behaviors, we continue to perpetuate suffering. We continue to run or to fight, to try to escape or to check out, to be out of body, out of our own body. So that is how suffering is perpetuated. That is how a victim becomes a perpetrator of their suffering. So to be able to be in the here and the now, to know what's going on, it will help us to recognize those unbeneficial, even destructive patterns, and to learn to breathe, to call our thoughts and feelings by their true names, and to say, it's okay, I'm right here, and I've grown up. Now I have more sovereignty. I can take better care of myself. I can use the spiritual practices such as mindful breathing, mindful walking, mindful sitting, to embrace the difficulties inside me so that I don't have to rehearse those negative patterns, negative coping mechanisms, or the neural pathways in me. So we learn to put a stop to that and to learn to respond in the here and the now and not through the lens of the past. And we learn to literally to develop new neural pathways that are more mindful and peaceful, and that helps us to slowly heal the wounds of the past. And even if something atrocious, unpleasant that's happening right in the here and the now, mindfulness also helps us to respond to the situation with calmness with clarity instead of reacting to it. When we react to something, it could be just very automatic and it can actually worsen the situation. But when we have equanimity, clarity, we can really have more control over the situation. We can control the damage. We can be more aware of the environment and save ourselves more effectively. So it's the process. We learn to go through the process mindfully from the beginning to the middle to the end. So that every step along the way, there's mindfulness, there's clarity, there's peace. Even in a divorce case or in an abusive situation or unpleasant situation at our workplace, if we have mindfulness and wisdom, we will take care of the situation much more effectively. And when we look back, we will not have to suffer from trauma or from regrets, but we know that we have done our best and that it gives us a sense of confidence and confidence and self-sovereignty that we can protect and take care of ourselves along the way. That is the best way to take care of suffering of the present moment as well as suffering from the past.
So in the Plum Village tradition, there's a phrase that's emphasized, that the way out is in. And I think perhaps you spoke to this just now a little bit. So forgive me if it sounds repetitive, but can you share a little of what this means and how somebody can begin to go in instead of running away?
The way out is in is a counterbalance to the way of our society that we always look outward for solutions, through escapism, through consumerism. We always look outside for temporary fix or solutions. But along the way, that causes more problems. It makes the situation more complicated and more severe as a result. It's like, for example, we lose our job, then we get into drinking, doing drugs, then from losing a job, we become addicted to alcohol, to drugs. It can lead to depression, and it can lead to, it causes the marriage to fall apart, relationships to go south, etc., etc. So, but when we learn that the way out is in, is to come back and calm our body and mind. It's the practice of stopping and deep looking so that we see more clearly what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say. Now we live at Deer Park, where it's right in nature, and I see the squirrels. They are always moving about. The rabbits, you see them constantly moving about. But actually, very often, I also see squirrels. They would perch on a boulder, very still like this, for like 5 minutes. Just this afternoon, as I was eating lunch, one perched on one boulder and another on another boulder, and they were incredibly still. So if you see animals, the dogs, the cats, the squirrels, the rabbits, the snakes, all animals, they actually take time out to be completely still, doing nothing, going nowhere. And I think that helps them to just release all the tension and the stress. Because animals, they live in the wild, they constantly face danger, right? But after, for example, like a mouse is escaped from a cat, or a bird hitting the glass window, afterwards they will shake. They go, they tremor. But that helps them to release the stress, the tension. When I released a very big rattlesnake, it didn't slither away right away. It kind of lay very still. We had to step back, and then we actually just left the big trash can there, and it took its time to go on its way. So animals have that wisdom to stop, to let the body process the stress and the tension. So that's why they live in the wild, they face constant danger, but they don't suffer the same kind of trauma that humans do. That we have forgotten that capacity to stop, rest, release, and look deeply. And so the way out is in. It helps us to make time for ourselves to simply sit and do nothing. Get a hammock and lie on the hammock and swing back and forth. To go for a walk. You walk, but you are stopping because your mind is not running, it's not thinking, it's not planning, scheming something. You can just simply be like a tree, like a rock, like a squirrel in stillness. And that is a way of being in touch with being in oneness in body and mind. And it helps us to quiet everything. And in that quietness and stillness, we actually hear and see more clearly, more deeply. And that wisdom, the inner wisdom, will spring forth. And we will know what we need to do and what we need not to do. And a lot of time we actually do not need to do a whole lot. It is in having so much fear and anxiety that we struggle, that we kick and scream, and we cause more damage. But in being still, quiet, just to take time, a little time before we respond, that actually it helps to control the situation much better, more effectively. So the way out is in, back to the body, in, back to that reservoir of calmness, of clarity, of wisdom, deep within. It's always there for us through our lifetime and the wisdom from our parents and ancestors, the wisdom of the land, of our spiritual ancestors. We have that reservoir that we need to tap in and benefit from.
Thank you. Excuse me. What can people do to experience more peace, more joy, and freedom in their lives? And how can they apply these mindfulness teachings or Buddhist teachings to nourish their happiness?
Well, I brought with me a few Chinese characters to help demonstrate. First of all, this is a Chinese character. Can you see? For enough. You see, this is a mouth. So it's like the head, the body, one arm, two legs. Enough. So when I share this with young people, I ask them, do you have a head? Yes. Do you have a body? Yes. Do you have one arm? Yes. You actually have two arms. Most of us were very lucky. Do you have two legs? Yes. Then are you enough? They say yes. Say louder. Yes. I am enough. Knowing that we are enough already bring a lot of peace and happiness. Many of us feel impoverished. It's like we are lacking, we're not good enough. And we try too hard to strive, to grasp, to impress others. But if we come back and recognize, wow, we have more than enough, all of these internal, external organs that we have, everything all around us, we have so much, then we feel full, whole, complete from within, where we are, exactly where we are. From that place of wholeness and of being enough, whatever we do, there's more freedom, more peace. Versus when we feel we're not enough, everything we do is like grasping, holding on. And it would never be enough. A millionaire would still feel he needs more or she needs more. A president would still feel they need more power. And even a person who's lived to be in their 80s or 90s, still they'll grasp. They'll be afraid of death. But if we feel we have enough, our life is so rich already, then everything more is simply a blessing. Eyes on the cake, you say. Icing on the cake. Yeah, then we celebrate. We are happy. You see? So know that you are enough. It's already a great condition of happiness. And that also means that to be grateful for what we have. Don't take for granted these eyes. If an accident happens and we have only one eye, or we lose vision, we will suffer so much. And all we wish is to have back those two good eyes. They may not look so beautiful like somebody else's eyes, but trust me, you will value your eyes a lot more. But why don't we value our eyes right now as they are? They don't need to be more beautiful, more blue or more brown or more green, just as they are. You know, your teeth, you still have teeth. You may have some crowns, some, what we call, even denture, just to be happy, to have them as they are, to be glad, then to be grateful for what we have brings a lot of peace and happiness. And we make more time too. When we are aware of those good conditions, we take better care of them, of our heart, of our skin, of our body. And it doesn't take a lot of money, actually. The more busy we are making money and buying things, the more restless we become, the more lacking we feel, inadequate we feel. But if we just take care of what we already have, make more time to cherish them and to be with our loved ones, to be happy, then our relationships are stronger with others and with ourselves. We need less money, less material things, and yet we feel more fulfilled. So very simple things. Make time when you wake up to massage your face, your head, your chest, your arms, your legs. Say hello to each part of your body. Say hello, beautiful. Hello, dear. I know you're still alive, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you, dear body, for being there for me, for being so faithful and loyal, for being the one lover that I've always wished for. You are already there, so loving and so accepting and so forgiving. However unskillful, abusive I have been, my body has been there for me. You see, just give yourself the first 5-10 minutes. I saw this commercial. I said, the first 5 minutes in your day, don't just take your iPhone, even to check what time it is or the news. The first 5 minutes, our brain is in alpha wave, and that's very healing, and it helps with growth and healing, alpha waves. So instead of being busy with the phone or thinking, just massage your body, breathe and smile, and give rise to a positive thought. I would like to live today generously and beautifully. I'd like to reach out and help somebody. I'd like to be a good friend to myself, to be kinder, more accepting of myself. Use that 5 minutes. I give myself 20 minutes most of the time. And I'm a nun. I don't have a whole lot, but I do have time to care for myself. You see? So, and not just the first 5 minutes of your day that your brain is in alpha wave. Research has shown that when you are mindful, when you are meditating, your brain goes in alpha wave. So if you learn to be mindful throughout the day by coming back to your breath, coming back to your body, coming back to your steps, you generate alpha waves pretty much throughout the day. And growth and healing can only take place when the body is relaxed, when there is a sense of safety and peace in your body and mind. Otherwise, you are only in survival mode, which is very stressful, and it can bring about, cancer and other acute and chronic conditions, illnesses. So, spiritual practice helps us to generate those alpha waves throughout the day. Even when a stressful situation takes place, if we know to come back to our breathing, to relax our body and our mind, just to take a few minutes. After you fall, after you have a car accident, after you receive a stressful phone call or very stressful news, give yourself a few minutes to just breathe and calm down. Those few minutes can be very crucial in preventing you going into shock or, going to like a traumatic response. Prevent you from making decisions that can affect you long term. So those are very simple ways to train ourselves daily to be mindful, to be peaceful. And so when stressful situation happens, we have better tolerance and more positive response. Okay, that's a very long answer, but very practical.
Beautiful answer. Thank you.
Okay,
so, can you share what is interbeing and why is it important to understand? And that's also...
What is interbeing? Okay.
Sorry, I got distracted because I saw you had these other characters. I didn't know if you wanted to speak on those more. Okay.
So the teaching on interbeing is is very, very important. To me, interbeing encompasses all teachings of the Buddha. And I have this model of a yin-yang bean. They are real beans. And this is a model of this bean. You can see that it's small like this. And half of the bean is white and half of the bean is black. On the white half, there's a black dot. And on the black half, there's a white dot. In the white, there's the black. In the black, there's the white. Right? So I call this an interbeing. This is in that, and that is in this. Okay? Interbeing, which illustrates the teaching of the Buddha on interbeing. We think ourselves as self-made, completely independent and separate from everything else. And yet, we know that if we just remove the water element from our body, be shrunken. It's like when we die and we are cremated, all the water element has been extracted. The weight of the ashes is equivalent to our body weight when we were born. So this, however big, burly your body is, when you become ashes, just a bag, like a baby. So water element, all the food we have consumed, but also all the news, the world views, attitudes we've also consumed. From our families, our society. So if when we think we are separate and independent, that's an illusion. It's a delusion. So we see interbeing, and it's so important because it helps us heal that sense of separateness, of divisiveness that is taking place in our society. Families are divided, our nation divided by ideologies, views, dogmas, that we cannot look at each other face to face, that we do everything to undercut, to discount, discredit each other's work. And that happens a lot in the political arena and also everywhere else, at workplace, etc. But to learn about interbeing, you are in me and I am in you. Your happiness is my happiness, and if you suffer, I will suffer too. This nation is only strong because we are together. If we try to divide, to see some are more superior, others are inferior, then this country will become weak and vulnerable and not helpful to other nations at all. So interbeing helps us to be more humble, to be more realistic, and also to reach out for each other more and to cooperate with each other. It removes discrimination and preferences, okay? Because it is in essence a teaching of non-self. Not only this is in that, but this is because that is. This is because that is. You see? And that is because this is. And also this is not because that is not. Like our country right now is very divided. The state is it is like that because of all the unmindful consumption, the news feeds, the media feeds, all the exploitation, the ideologies that we have, that we are we've become very strong in our views, but in our ethical behaviors, they have become wayward, not very wholesome, not very beneficial. You see? So this is because that is. And this is not, our nation is not, doesn't have that camaraderie, that solidarity, that strength. It's not because we have not taken care of our spiritual life. We have pursued a life of wealth, of comfort, material comfort. We have not taken care of our young generations, of the people who are more marginalized and disadvantaged, because we have not taken care of each other. That is why our society is at its present state. So interbeing is a very, very deep teaching and a deep practice too. So every time when we see ourselves thinking in a divisive, discriminative, dualistic way, we can breathe and smile and think of interbeing. Do I see that enemy out there is also in me? Do I see their weaknesses are also in me? And do I also see their strengths and talent and good intentions are in me? And that my whichever weaknesses or strengths in me, they're also there in others. In that way, we will be more supportive of each other.
Thank you. I love the interbeing.
It's my best Dharma instrument.
That's great.
I teach them to the teenagers, and one day a young man ran to me, a teenager. Sister D, can you tell me about interbeing again?
I didn't know those beans existed. That's really amazing.
You can order them online.
I might.
You can grow them.
Wow.
But try not to buy things online too much.
I'm sure they have some nourishing qualities too.
Use everything mindfully. Like everything else, everything we do, if we use them, consume them mindfully, they benefit. But if we don't use them mindfully, then they may hurt us and hurt others.
Yeah. Thank you. So, if you're open to it, could you please demonstrate or guide on how someone can practice mindful breathing to get in touch with themselves and what they're feeling in the present moments? How to practice being with oneself.
Mindful breathing is a teaching and a practice dates back all the time to the time of the Buddha. The Buddha talked a lot about mindful breathing. He didn't talk about all the stages of dhyana, of meditation, but he talked about mindful breathing. And this wonderful character for breathing. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So the upper character here is tự, which means from or itself. The lower character here means mind or heart. Together, they make the meaning is tức, which means breathing, the breath. The breath is from the mind. The breath is the mind itself. Isn't that wonderful? And we think about when you're angry, how do you breathe? It's a different breathing pattern. When you're sad, how do you breathe? When you're not feeling well or when you're anxious. or when we are sick, when we're dying, we all have different breathing patterns. So the breath reflects the state of mind. It's from the mind, it is the mind itself. So now many of us actually were not aware of the state of mind that we are in. People come to the practice, they say, oh my gosh, now I realize I've been depressed for 2 years, but I didn't know that. Or somebody who's been very angry. Everybody sees it except ourselves. We don't see that we've been angry, you see? But if we pay attention to our breathing, it's very honest. It will tell us that we've been depressed because our breathing pattern is different, or that we have been angry. In that moment, you can just check in with your breathing pattern and you know where you are. So the body is very honest. In our practice, we learn to be aware of our body because the body reflects the mind. Mind and body reflects each other. They are each other. So in mindful breathing, I think of if you're a bird watcher, or you simply watch a bird flying in the sky, you just watch it as it is. You're not making the bird going north or south. You're not making the bird flying faster or slower. You just simply watch it. That is how you watch your breath. You watch it as it is. You don't need to manipulate your breath. Now I know there's breath work in people can learn from, but breath work, you manipulate your breathing, and you can do that, but it's only for a short period. The Buddha's teaching on mindful breathing, and it's also our practice in the Plum Village tradition. I'm in the Plum Village tradition. We don't manipulate our breathing. We just watch our breathing, just like we're watching a bird flying in the sky. Or another analogy is like you have a pen and you follow the breath from the beginning. You're breathing in, and then the whole length of the in-breath, and then there's a pause. You smile and relax, and then you follow the out-breath from that point all the way to the end. It makes one cycle. It sounds simple, but it's not simple, because as you follow the in-breath only this much, your thought already arises. Something takes you away. But it's okay. You say, come back, come back, come back, come back. Just come back. Breathe and smile and relax in this pause. And as you breathe out, this is your mind. This is your breath. Stick to it. Follow it. So when you start, maybe you should simply, this is an in-breath. Your mind takes place. This is an out-breath. But as you practice more, you will be able to follow the whole way through, from the beginning to the pause, to the end, from the beginning of the out-breath to the end. Just that way. And it becomes a good habit. Every time in our tradition, every time we hear a sound of the bell, church bell, clock chime, wind chime, big bell, small bell in the meditation hall, even the siren, red light, we use those sounds to help us come back to the breath. And those are moments of respite, of stopping. And in stopping, you have deep looking, you see? So I'll invite one sound of the bell, and then you practice with me, okay? You follow the breath from the beginning, and you can simply say, in, pause, out, pause, yourself. And as you're breathing mindfully like that, you can also quietly say to yourself, come back, my dear. Or you say, I love you. Help me to take good care of you. I am more than enough. Thank you. Thank you. Just do that. Every time your phone rings, instead of grabbing it right away and go through a stress response, release adrenaline. A dose of adrenaline is released into your bloodstream. When you're like this, you startle, you grab the phone. Day by day, that brings about physical and mental illness. Instead, when you hear the phone rings, your own phone or somebody's phone, take a moment to just breathe in and breathe out. Or you look down. Nobody has to know you are breathing mindfully. I love you. It's okay. It's okay. Then you reach out and pick up your phone, and your voice will sound different. Your attitude will be different. Your mood will be different. You see, something so simple as mindful breathing. Use all the wonderful sounds and not so wonderful, not so pleasant sounds to help you come back to your breath. So it's not the one-time doing, like, you set out 8 hours or 2 hours to practice. No, mindfulness is portable. You can practice anywhere and anytime, okay? There are nurses who have told us that when they are stressed, they just go to the restroom and sit and breathe for just 5 minutes. Or they go and wash their face and just wash and say, it's okay. And they breathe. When they come out of the restroom, they feel better. So if you can breathe with the sounds of your phone and the phone from other people throughout the day, that's very deep mindfulness, very deep meditation. And it helps you to self-regulate throughout the day, helps you to release the stress and tension in your body and in your thoughts and feelings throughout the day as you roll, just like the squirrel and the rabbits release their stress and tension throughout the day so that it's not accumulated in their bodies and in their minds. That's something that we can do. And it's out of love for ourselves, out of compassion, to know that we have that wealth, that reservoir from deep within, and we just need to come back and take good care of it and to enjoy it. It's not out there. It's all already in here. And I think that goes into your last question too. A message that I would like to reinforce, to impart to you. Know that you deserve peace and healing, my dear. You can spend your whole life looking for somebody to love you, accept you, be there for you. But that soulmate is not outside. a Chinese character for soulmate. It's tri kỷ. It's a word also in Vietnamese. Tri means to remember, to know, to take care of, to master. And kỷ, K-Y, it means oneself. A soulmate is you, my dear, who learns to remember that you have a body. With a head, a mouth, body, 2 arms, 2 legs. Remember, learn to know how you breathe when you are stressed, when you are insecure, when you're jealous, when you are afraid, and how you breathe when you are happy, when you are at ease, at peace with yourself. To remember, to know, to take care of, and slowly to master your feelings and thoughts, to be able to regard them with equanimity, with stability, with peace, and not be swept or pulled away by them. You deserve that. You can be a soulmate to yourself. With the mindfulness practices that I've been sharing. And you can find more teachings on YouTube. You can come to our practice centers in the US, in France. We have practice centers everywhere. Our teachers' teachings, they are available to you. And the teacher deep within you, the soulmate, deep within you, are waiting for you. Remind yourself that you deserve peace and healing, that you deserve to be your own soulmate, to be a soulmate to your inner child. Take good care of her, take good care of him, take good care of them. You deserve that. And by being your own soulmate, by knowing how to take care of yourself mindfully and peacefully, naturally you become a soulmate to your loved ones, to the people you serve. You help change your environment in a positive and natural way. Just naturally, you will affect your environment. So enjoy, my dear. Enjoy learning more about mindfulness and practice them. It's most important is to practice. Okay. Breathe and smile. Bless you.